Well, welcome. I'm Vicki. I've seen most of you, but just to recap in case there are some new faces, I am a certified wellness coach through the Mayo Clinic. I've received my training through them up in Rochester, Minnesota. I focus on stress management, so that's my background and expertise. I've had 13 years of massage and bodywork background, so I've seen the physical ramifications of stress, which is translating from mind to body. I'm also an ERYT, which is basically a fancy term for I'm a yoga teacher who can teach other yoga teachers. I also have 2 bachelor's degrees, one in psychology, one in anthropology. So I love looking at us as a culture and our behaviors and patterns and how that applies to stress management. So it all ties together. So today, mindful consumption, perfect timing, right? 2 weeks is the big turkey day. Are we ready for it? What fills you with dread about the holiday? I'm seeing no, I'm not ready for this. There's always some sort of underlying dread with the holidays, right? Somehow, which is kind of sad, isn't it? The holidays are meant to be celebrated and joyful. So what brings dread to some of you? Politics, okay, that's a big one. That's usually a negative connotation because there's arguments. Sometimes it's debate, healthy debate, but also heated arguments sometimes, right? That's a good one. Any other ones?
Family members.
Difficult family members, yes. Yeah? Yes. There's always at least one person in each family that's challenging, right? I may be that person, I don't even know. Yes.
Family members who've gone to heaven and whose presence, whose absence rather is key.
I can relate to that too. I lost my mother a month after Christmas. So this time of year is really hard for me. And it's been 20 years, over 20 years. So it's never easy. That's a very challenging one. All of these are very difficult things.
Not accessible on the
Yes, that can be challenging too, especially distance. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of distance. Yeah.
That's where the grandchildren are.
Oh. Skype, right?
Oh, Skype.
The beauty of technology.
It's a miracle.
Yes. Well, how does consumption tie into dread for any of you? Does that stress you out? Eating lots of food? We talked about, oh, don't spill our secrets. We just went to Starbucks. I'm not here to tell you what to eat because honestly, there's a slide with my favorite junk food item on it. I'm here to tell you to celebrate the food that you're eating and to be okay with that relationship with food instead of, this is the day where we just eat all this food and then I'm off the bandwagon, so forget it. I'm just going to eat like this the rest of the year. That's not what I'm telling you either. Is there any stress behind shopping or food consumption? Yeah? All of it? Finances? Yeah. Okay, so today I'm just here to kind of give you the questions to think about. We're going to do an exercise that I learned, you guys probably already did at staff day, but I want to encourage you to approach this on the retail end of things too. So from the stress management and mindfulness master, Jon Kabat-Zinn, this is where I learned the raisin mindfulness. Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. We're gonna do it again, but I want you to think about it from multiple perspectives. I first was introduced to this man in my very first return to college class, health psychology. And he was doing that raisin exercise. And I was probably 23 or 24, and it's been over a decade, and it's still stuck with me. I will never forget that exercise. This is probably spot on definition for mindfulness to me. Paying attention in a specific way, deliberation. Your actions, your thoughts, your emotions are deliberate. In the present moment, non-judgmental. So there's that food thing, right? Oh God, I shouldn't have eaten that third piece of pie or whatever that is. Instead, I'm loving this piece of pie because it's delicious and I love it, and today's a day of celebration, and that's okay. So non-judgmental, instead of eating those words, right? So now we branch out. I wrote the same thing on both sides so you could kind of read. Hopefully you guys can see them. The yamas and the niyamas. I could go on. I teach this for one semester at St. Francis with my yoga students for college credit. This could be broken down into multiple different lectures. But I'm touching on all of these little concepts throughout this presentation today. So if you want to glance back up at these, I may point one or two of these out from time to time. So just kind of reference these, if you can read them. My favorite junk food item. And I don't even care because I love them and I don't eat them every single day. So here is the deal that I have with food. When I coach people, I've started putting stress management in front of wellness coach, because when people hear wellness coach, they're like, I eat fine, or I don't want to hear about what you want to tell me about my food. If there is an issue with stress and food relation, I am guilty. I will go wolf down some donuts if I'm really, really stressed out and I just don't give a care in the world. I will eat them. And then I'm like, move on. That's not a big deal. I'm not going to feel bad about it. Dopamine is our brain's major reward center. So when we eat sugar, what do we feel? Yay, I ate sugar, I feel great. But it also helps us be aware of escaping a bad situation. So if we think about stress eating, we're escaping the stress, which is the bad situation, right, to food. This could also turn into, I've been guilty of this, I've gotten a lot better, retail therapy. Yes, I see some nods. So this neurochemistry impacts our behavior, whether the outcome is good or bad. We could go as far beyond this and go into gambling. When we hit, I just got back from Vegas a couple weeks ago. It's really easy to just keep pushing the button because I won $10. Maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I'll do it again. It's just like the pigeons pecking for pellets until they get one. It's that whole Pavlovian thing. And then if we go back to these, I guess it's considered right living, self-discipline, self-awareness. The friend I went with was like, you're so good at just walking away. And I'm like, I know this isn't going to work out for me in the end. And I'd rather leave when I'm up and just be like, I'm good now. I had my fun. I have some money. I'm going to go get some coffee because there's a Starbucks right down the way where we were staying. All right. So with our brain, when we're in the holiday rush or in everyday rush, right? This is what life is. Just keep going. I'm launched out of a cannon. How many of you have gone all day and you're like, did I eat lunch? Has anyone done that? I have. There are days where you just get so busy and you're like, whoa, I'm super hungry. I'm going to grab this cookie because it's, you guys have, is Dunkin' Donuts still here? Yeah. How easy of an access is that? Like, oh, sugar, fast, get my blood sugar up. I'm so hungry, I can't wait to just go get, just go down the street and get a salad or something. Freshies right down here, right? There's easy access, it's just that we're in that momentum mindset that we forget to slow down. Our brain doesn't have time to catch up with, I'm hungry, or I'm full. There's Thanksgiving, right? The mashed potatoes, give me all the food, and then I'm miserable. You could also send me to Taj Mahal at the lunch buffet and just keep going, and you almost need someone to wheel you out because you're just like, can you give me a cot? I just want to lay down and take a nap. we slow down throughout the day, we can take a breath and assess our emotions, our thoughts, our physical response. We would know when we're hungry. So there's mindfulness in itself, just in everyday actions. And then if we think about shopping and all that, Black Friday, anybody Black Friday shopper? I'm right there with you. I did it once. I don't think I'll ever do it again. But when we watch it on TV or we've seen, I was in retail for like 5 years, so I've seen it firsthand too. You're just like, this is crazy. It's crazy how much energy comes into this. And people are buying up stuff that may not even be worth buying, right? Have we looked at the ads and we're like, well, what's the point of that? Like, some things might be beneficial, but more often than not, it's just, obviously, it's meant for us to go buy, right? So if we slow down, take a breath, assess, we can focus on that present moment. And then the questions. How do I feel before I actually go do this? This happened to me this weekend. We're getting ready to buy a house, so if anyone's bought a house, we all know that it's really stressful. I'm also a college professor, and I teach 10 to 12 classes a week, yoga, on top of coaching and speaking and everything else. And on the weekends, sometimes I just sit and I'll binge watch Netflix. So you could even take it on that level if you wanted to for consumption. And I decided to watch an Australian sweets bake-off show, like a whole reality show. And near the end of it, I was like, I really want to go get some donuts. And then I sat there and I was like, am I really feeling like I just want the donut? Or is it because I've been watching all these sweets, have I been exposing myself to this, and my stress levels have been really high? And then I just stopped myself and I was like, you don't need that. But if you really want it, and that's just something that you want to treat yourself, why not? Go to Starbucks and get the fancy holiday drink or whatever. Is this beneficial to me? So going on the raisin that we're talking about, as well as the feelings after, they kind of go hand in hand. One, is this beneficial? Who are we benefiting? Is it benefiting you? When you're buying gifts, are you buying out of resentment? I used to have that feeling for a long time with my family. I'm like, I don't have the money to buy all this stuff for people that they probably don't even want anyway. Or it's kind of like that, take $20 and pass it to the right. We've all had that joke, yeah? But go farther. Where did your item come from? Where did your food come from? The journey. Who is that benefiting? What is their energy level? What was their attitude in making that food or that item? If we really thought about that, we'd probably stop doing a lot of the stuff we did or do, our habits and patterns. How are you going to feel after the action? Am I going to just hate myself because I ate a donut? Or am I going to be like, that was delicious and I'm okay with that, and on I go. That was my treat for the day. One treat. I allowed myself that permission, and I did not eat any guilt. So is this beneficial? Is how we're thinking and feeling while we're doing the action? If you already know how you're going to feel after, that kind of loops back up to the beginning, right? So it's a lot of thinking and processing, I do this every time, just for one little thing. And then we go, is this worth it? Is it worth feeling this crappy because I ate a piece of pie? Or is it worth celebrating with my family and friends while savoring this piece of pie? The words are different, right? And then what are your habits and patterns? I know when I'm stressed out, and I think I've mentioned this before, my husband will buy me a box of Swiss cake rolls because that's my other little guilty treat. I've actually stopped him from buying them for me. If I say I've had a bad day, I'm like, do not go out and buy me a snack. because I'll eat the whole box if I'm really stressed out. And then I just feel gross because I ate too much sugar. So I'm like, don't get me anything. I don't need anything. Give me a hug. I don't care, I know my patterns when I get really super stressed and I'm just like, I've had it, I'm done, I'm gonna lay down. I'd rather take a nap and recharge, or take a bath and recharge, than wolf down a whole box of Swiss cake rolls, or donuts for that matter. So then there's always those sub-questions. Is this stress? Do I really feel this way? Is this going to benefit me when I buy this item, or is it useful? Or am I gonna just use it for 2 hours and then it's, how many things have we bought before where we're like, I want this so bad right now, and then a week later it's like buried in the closet somewhere or already broken? Those are things that we have to think about. Is this really, truly, do I really, really want it? And the thing that's really helped me is setting parameters for yourself. Can you structure your shopping or your food purchasing and consumption around local? Is it from the local artist down the street who loves what they do? They put love into their product. And then it's well thought out. This gift made me think of you. Or the baker that's local, that loves what they do. And I know some people poo-poo the secret ingredient is love, but I really think that's a true statement. Because could you imagine if somebody hated their job and they're just like chopping vegetables angrily or like throwing stuff? The food's probably not going to taste good. It's probably going to be burnt. It shows, and then it radiates outward. And this could go anywhere with any industry. I set parameters on my spending, like with clothes and stuff, made in the US or ethically made outside of the US. Or not buy new and go thrift. Because then I'm not stealing from the planet, I'm kind of recycling in a way. I'm practicing non-excess and non-attachment. I'm not attached to the high dollar label or whatever. I'm being real with myself. Am I staying true to my values? And I don't feel guilty when I do buy one fancy thing, or I eat that one donut. I'm not eating those words or those thoughts. And then the final. Did anyone make it to the Walk With Me filming over at Jefferson Point? It was a one-time showing, but it was on Thich Nhat Hanh. And the whole film was like a meditation in itself. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. He's one of my favorite humans on this planet. But this reiterates mindfulness. So if we bought something in the past, it's done. The money's been spent. It's not a big deal. We can't hem and haw over that, right? We can only learn from that mistake or whatever that journey was. The future's not here yet, so not worrying about all these gifts and all the food and the people that we have to interact with, the difficult family members, the politics. I get myself worked up over conversations and I'm like, it's gonna be terrible, and then it's never as bad as I make it out to be in my head. So we can't worry about those future things. We can only worry, one, about us and our actions and how we react to other people, so those interactions. How we respond to food, how we respond to gift giving. Maybe you have something that's true to you, like I donated in your name to a charity that I love or that you love. I did that with my family. I'm like, pick a charity that you love and donate it in my name. I don't want any gifts. And they actually did that. Well, actually, they were like, what charity do you want us to take the money to? And so I gave them ideas as well. So I was really proud of them for honoring something that I value. Yeah. So being in touch in the present moment, being in touch with life. Celebrate life. Celebrate food. Food's here to nourish us, right? Not to make us feel bad. And we're meant to be consuming those warm, gooey, like cozy foods right now anyway, right? It's wintertime. Historically, that's what we were meant to do in the wintertime. We have to eat warm stews because it's cold out. We just have to learn how to stoke our digestive fire, whether that's a yoga practice or breathing, being aware of how much you're consuming, walking around indoors, finding ways to stoke that fire. And then my contact info if anyone needs it. So we're going to do the raisin exercise. But I want you to think about this on the other aspects of consumption, whether that's a film, what is that person's background, why did they make this film? That's consuming something, you're watching it. Also, what are you putting into what are you seeing? You're putting that into your mind. Yeah? Where did this item come from? Who made it? What was their attitude? Is it gonna break in like a day or two, you know? Okay. There's quite a few in here, so I'll just have you take one raisin out, pass the box around. Who was around for the raisin exercise at staff day? Okay, so half of you, over half of you. I probably won't get it exact the way John Kabat-Zinn did it, but we'll get the idea. These remind me of like trick or treat. Little trick or treat raisins. Where's one box? Yeah, they like pack them in so you can't even.
One gets six.
Yes. Try to take one. All right. So we can do this with our food before us at Thanksgiving and Christmas, our gifts before us. Thank you to that person who had some heart to even get you something. Instead of having that resistance of, this was a hard practice for me, was like, don't give me anything, and I'm so mad because you got me something. Instead, just being like, thank you, they're excited to give you something. It may be not anything that you want or need, but they were excited to do this for you. And you have to sometimes stifle the like, oh, thanks, you know, but people genuinely care to get you something, and you'll know if they didn't, because it's just like, that energy's there. All right, so the raisin. The first thing we do is just look at this raisin. You can pick it up, check it out. Think about the journey that this raisin took to get right here in the palm of your hand. That's crazy to think about, right? It's one raisin, it's a grape. It was a grape at one time. That's hard we don't think about where our food came from to our plate. We just usually get in this hurried mess of consume, I feel miserable, on to the next thing. We'll even forget what we ate. Like half the time I forget what I had for breakfast. So this one raisin took a journey. Someone picked this raisin, put it in a basket, and took it in a truck somewhere to become a dried raisin. And then take in the ridges. Each raisin's unique. They're not all gonna look the same, right? Just like, you can compare your neighbor's raisins if you want to. But just like every handcrafted item, if we go to a local artisan, they're not gonna be perfectly the same, which is cool. That makes it unique. And then we actually take the raisin in. First, before you like chew it up, just kind of take in the flavors, the texture. And then start to chew, and there might be a little bit more flavor. Appreciate the value and the nourishment of this raisin. Could you imagine if we ate our food like this? Slowing down is really hard for us. We're in a world where that's just all we do is go. And then as you process and just receive that raisin, we can do the same thing with our plate of food. Where did our mashed potatoes come from? Who made the gravy? Did one of our relatives make it from scratch? Like, how cool is that? We forget about those things. And we forget sometimes to have gratitude for that food that's right in front of us. We have a lot of fortune and blessing for having food right before us. Some people don't have that opportunity. And the same thing with gift giving, being able to receive gifts from someone or give a gift. So I'm not saying don't go buy anything, but be more mindful when you purchase or create something. Make it from here versus the, I have to go shopping, and I'm so stressed out because I don't know what anyone wants. You know what? Sometimes when you just make this decision, I knit everyone these cowl scarves because I can do that. And there may be a talent that you have that you're like, I'm going to do that. And I may feel like that's a silly little gift, but every single person was like, you made that? You had the time to do that? And they were just, my brothers were like trying to figure out how I did this because they're both like woodworkers. So they're like engineering, how did you do this? This is a miraculous thing. Those are the gifts that people appreciate the most, is when they come from here versus this like, here's your gift, Merry Christmas, see you later. Like, it's such a rushed thing. If we could all practice that slow, deliberate, mindful action, whether it's consuming food, products, visually, aurically, audibly, through our ears, hearing it, we can be a little bit more peaceful and appreciative. So, do we have any questions? I feel like I did the whirlwind thing with this, but any questions? And these and the, like I said, we could break that down into a whole thing. If anyone's interested in that, let me know, and I can let you know. We can segment them out because it's a lot to dig into. There's a whole book that I use to teach from that's really simplified because sometimes philosophy gets a little intense. So, thank you.